See, I think I did something to mess it up. Let's see.
What'd you mess up?
I can't find the Hangout now. Let's see. Oops. Let's see. For some reason, it says Pixel Session 3.
Yes.
Yeah, you're in it now.
I can see you.
Weird. Let's see. It has like a recording.
Yeah, you're in right now. You're online.
Yeah, I can't see you guys.
Yeah, the window's hidden.
Yeah,
I
Is
fixed
it
it.
down on a Chromebook? Is it down in...
Okay, I fixed it. I think.
So do we just start then?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. This is Lee Graham. I am an assistant professor at the University of Alaska Southeast, and I'm going to be presenting today on Gamefied, which is an intergenerational open online project that I did with a group of 9th graders and my in-service teachers this spring, and it was a really fun project. And I have a colleague here in the Hangout with me. Christy?
I don't know if Christy joined in.
Oh, okay.
Try to add her again. Was Christy on it with you?
No, she wasn't. I just, for some reason, I thought she was here. So.
Come on in, take a seat.
Okay, very good. So I'll just get started, and then this is very much an interactive presentation. If you have any questions, stop me.
Lee, I want you to take a look around the room and see who's here, and I don't mean my gigantic shaped head.
Okay.
Look at all the future experts you have sitting here. They know
I
what
can't see.
Slide her around so she can see.
I can't see. I only see 2 people. Oh, wow. Hey, guys.
Look at that.
Yeah, it's great to be here with you this morning.
You too.
And so, do we introduce ourselves to ourselves, or am I the only person who don't know ourselves?
No, we're all strangers here. Hold on. One.
I'm from Moran Middle School. I'm Alex Fickerly, also from Moran. We're in Wallingford.
In French. Same school.
I'm Sarah Lauren Riley. I'm on second school.
Garth Burbitt. I'm from Wallace Intermediate School.
We're from middle schools and high schools all over Connecticut. I'm Ian O'Byrne from the internets.
That is.
Okay. All right.
And then Peggy, right?
Yeah, Peggy Simingson, assistant professor at UT Arlington in the Dallas area.
Wow. And so you guys are here. Tell me why you guys are here. You're here to learn about technology and education, and is that...
And that there should be more of it in schools.
No kidding. I'm with you. And that's what I teach. I teach teachers how to use technology in education. I'm actually going to just sort of... I want to talk to you just for a minute before we get started. So I teach teachers. I'm here in Alaska. And so I've been involved in teaching online for about 20 years. So I started teaching online when we were just using straight text. And I teach my teachers who are in villages all around Alaska how to use technology in their classroom. At least that's what I try to do. But this year, this thing happened. I don't know if you guys have heard of something called Minecraft. Have y'all ever heard of that? Kind of thought you might have. Do any of you play it?
I do.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. And so what happened this year was that Verena Roberts, did any of you see Verena's session earlier today?
I was.
Which one was that? First one.
I don't think I saw it.
Yeah, she's really cool, and she was on Twitter one day, and she was talking, and in my classes, my students are teachers, and so in my classes, I have them do a Twitter hour every week, And so they were facilitating it, and I was there and I was watching it. Verena was tweeting, and she said, and I was supposed to be watching my class, but I was multitasking. And so Verena said, wouldn't it be cool if we created a class? Well, actually, she said, wouldn't it be cool if we created a project so that we could make a Minecraft game out of the Hunger Games? And I said, yeah, that would be really cool. And we didn't know it at the time, but there are several of those. And so we thought, well, we've got to come up with a different sort of twist on it. So Verena and I got together and we talked about this. And I have a student, Colin Osterhout, and he is really good with Minecraft. And he had done some things the prior year. So, so I got Colin involved. And then we called Vicki Davis. And Vicki is a Flat Classroom project. She's done a lot of projects. She teaches 9th grade in Georgia. So with the 4 of us, we decided that we were going to actually create this intergenerational project. And all that means is that we had 9th graders and we had in-service teachers working together to explore what a game is, what is a serious game, and then ultimately to create their own serious game. So that's sort of the nutshell of what I wanted to talk to you about today. So does that sound okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Great. Any questions so far?
So we can go to grad school and get a PhD if we know how to play Minecraft?
I would say that if you know how to play Minecraft and you can play it well and you know how to collaborate and create and join up with people in Minecraft to succeed, you can definitely go get a PhD because you're getting all kinds of skills that you're going to need for real life. Of course, you got to do other things too, but the problem solving in Minecraft, I think, is just unique, and that's one of the things that we found. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think we've got some people here in the room that might be interested.
Yeah, I'd say that's definitely one of those 21st century jobs. So, really, one of the things that I had to try hard to teach my teachers this year was the most important thing that we can do to stay up to date with technology is to play. And that seemed kind of counterintuitive to some of them, but we can really only stay up with this technology that moves so quickly if we're willing to set aside a little time to play with things and risk being wrong and risk making mistakes. And in my own case, risk getting blown up by chickens in my Minecraft house that I had built. This actually happened. So that's how it started, was with the little, Twitter with Verena. And then the 4 of us got together and we called ourselves the 4 Amigos. And we met every single week to talk about how this project was going to work. And so Vicki, she had the 9th graders, and Verena represented a nonprofit called EduCurious, who is possibly going to create our game and actually put it out there. Colin was our Minecraft expert, and then I was just the stodgy higher ed professor. And so I'm having the same problem with going back and forth with my windows. So the first thing that we did, because this was an inquiry project, was we had to ask ourselves, what is a serious game? And a lot of the teachers I was working with, they had never played games before. Or if they had, it was a long time ago. And so at the very first of this project, we took about 2 weeks, and their assignment was that 3 days a week they had to play games. And, some of them were World of Warcraft people. I had 2 people who played Worlds of Warcraft in there, and they were excited about this. But then I had 18 people who had not played games, and 1 person who was seriously very skeptical about playing games. So I had to introduce them to some games that they could play. And I had to kind of keep it to games that they might think would be interesting or beneficial. So there's a game called Super Better, which is a game about how to improve your emotional health and your physical health. And Jane McGonigal talks about that game a lot, so I introduced them to that. There's also a game that one of my students is still playing. It's a walking game. It's the walk game. And in this game, when you're walking, it's on your cell phone. You might have zombies chasing you, or you could have a bloody groom that's chasing you in the background looking for his bride. And supposedly it makes you walk more. But apparently it's working for her because she's still playing it even beyond these 2 weeks. So they had to play serious games for a few weeks just to figure out what what they looked like, what was the attraction in it, and what the benefits could be. And then I'm going to try to get back here to my Google Hangout and look at you guys and ask you, do you think there's such a thing as a serious game? Do you think like there's such a thing as a wasteful game versus a serious game? That's one of the things we really looked at this semester.
I think there's definitely some games that are out there. Like, I'm not exactly sure what some of the names of them are, but I know there are definitely games out there that have no value to them and don't teach kids anything. It's just a game to waste someone's time. And then there are also those games that have educational purposes that actually help kids.
Maybe it's not content educational, just like work certain parts of your brain.
Like like this game, like an internet game. It's called Electric Box 2. It's just a game where you have to figure out a puzzle and you have to get power to the thing. Well, to the thing you have to get power to.
Yeah.
Using different it's just a puzzle game. It works your brain. You have to. It's problem solving.
Problem solving is good, and I think what my teachers had a problem with the very first of this, and this is something that you could help. I mean, as students, and this was an intergenerational project, which means that my teachers were learning from 9th graders this whole time. And so what you can do as advocates of more technology in the classroom is help your teachers see the differences between these games. Because when my teachers came into this class, there was an assumption that all games were a time suck. So they thought, there's kind of 2 kinds of games. One kind of game is the game where you run around and you try to kill people and you're learning bad things. And then the other type of game was the game where you sit there and do math problems all day and, get a reward if you do them right. So that's kind of what they thought. And what we learned throughout this, and I learned this as much as everybody else, is there are a lot of different kinds of games. And that those games where you just do math problems and at the end of the day, you learned a lot of math skills, it's hard to even call that a game. It's more like an electronic worksheet. So our students didn't see any value in that. And that was really, I think, useful for my students to understand. So after we played the serious games, then we came up with what's important in terms of serious games. What are the things that are important to teachers? And then what are the things that are important to students? Because it has to be something that works for both of us. The game has to serve both purposes. So my students, who are teachers, came up with these lists, but they did it with feedback from the 9th graders we were working with. So what's important to teachers was that the games have a clear purpose. Like you said, they correlate with learning objectives, that there are standards. My teachers thought that it was important that there was a storyline because they wanted their students to be engaged. And when they were playing the games, those are the games they found most enjoyable. That it had to be well organized, risk-oriented, there had to be problem-solving, engaging and motivating. And it was funny, one of the 9th graders came in and said, "Do you mean fun?" And we said, yes, yes, we kind of do mean fun when we say engaging and motivating. It's just got to be a fun game. We thought it was important that games were collaborative. We thought individual player games, while they were okay, they didn't really make the most of the gaming atmosphere. That they had to scaffold skills somehow. They had to give good encouragement and feedback. And by utility, we just mean that it was easy to play. That, you know, you could figure out how to play the game without a lot of big instructions. Now, in terms of what was important to students, this was the list that we came up with. And you tell me if you agree with this. We thought that it was important to do problem solving, that it was important to have freedom to solve the game in a lot of different ways. Like, there couldn't just be one way to win. You had to have a lot of different ways to win. You think that's right? Okay.
Yeah.
The gameplay, that the gameplay made sense, that it was motivational, again, fun, that there were real-world connections. We thought that that was important for a serious game, like the kind of game that will help you to get a PhD. We thought those real-world connections were important. Again, teamwork, and we think students want to be creative. They didn't want to be stuck with just like one character, not able to choose a different avatar or that sort of thing, or stuck with one world and not able to alter it. They wanted to be creative. So as a result of all this, and I'm actually going to show you the wiki, this is what we did. The students who were in 9th grade went in and they found all of these serious games, and they made a list of them, and then they evaluated them according to the student rubric, and then the teachers evaluated them according to the teacher rubric, and this is what they came up with. And so I'm going to actually take you to this wiki. Have you all ever worked with a wiki before?
Yeah, I think so.
They're fun, although if I had it to do over again, I'm not sure that I wouldn't just use Google Docs. But the nice thing is that it was here and it was public, and you know, everybody could see it. And so here's our wiki. And so the students actually created this whole web page. They created it and they put the games in. We actually interacted with each other here in the projects, and so this is where the different higher education teams worked, and the students had access to this, so they would comment to us. And then the students made this encyclopedia of serious games based on our rubric. So you see, for every game, the students went in and they rated it, and then the teacher went in and rated it, and then and everybody did their reviews, and here are the student reviews, and here are the teacher reviews, so that we're able to get the game from different points of view, which was really, really nice.
Okay, we just have a question from one of the students, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
Could you just like read off a few? We can't really read it. It's kind of small.
It's small on the screen. Yeah, the share is a little small, so.
Okay. So I'm going to go back to the Encyclopedia of Serious Games. And I'm kind of making it bigger. Is that any better? But we've got like Fit Brains, Luminosity. We've got Darfur is Dying, Citizen Science, Peacemaker. And then they put the games in these different categories. So literature, there's Lord of the Flies, Verbs in Space, JFit, Post-it Science, weight training. So we've got all of these different games. They did this by topic. So this is the Encyclopedia of Games. And then they also did it by, by the different pages. So you can actually see every game here if you'd like to. I think there are about 80 games here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this link over here in the Hangout so that maybe that could be shared with you. And you're welcome to look at that. The students and the teachers came up with the list, and I was just amazed at the level of deep thought and engagement that took place as people actually, as they evaluated these different games. So here's a game called Plague, where you do your best to infect the world.
Yeah, we play that a lot.
Yeah. So as you can see, the students love it, and the educators haven't evaluated it yet. I would have been interested to see how they do. We're still looking for educators to evaluate games, by the way, because my teachers did as many as they could during their class, but obviously there are a lot more that need to be done.
I have a question, Lee.
Yes.
Hi, I'm a former Alaskan too, by the way. So
yes.
Do you share this wiki, or is it something you created for like your own purposes, or is this something you're hoping? Is this sort of an open wiki?
It is an open wiki, yes, and so anybody can look at it, but you do have to be a member of it to be able to evaluate the games and that sort of thing. And if you'd like to, then just email me or Vicky or Verena, and we're happy to add you, and would love for people to continue to add to this. In fact, I'm planning for next fall another experience where we continue to build in this wiki. But what we want to do is we want to build a peace studies class in Minecraft based on some children's literature for 10th grade students. So, and then we want to open it up to the world. What we really want to do is start having, and there are some out there, some K-12 open online classes that are facilitated by K-12 students.
Ooh, cool.
Yeah, so we really want to do a Minecraft open online class in peace studies, have the students build the world, and then have the students facilitate the experience with the help of the in-service teachers. Because this sort of learning was just so powerful for us this semester.
Awesome.
Yes. So yes, we'd love anybody to be a part of this. So here's what the teachers and the students had to do. The teachers had to recommend games for review, and the teachers had to review at least 5 games. And just for the teachers among us, and it might be interesting to the students too, that I was having a lot of trouble getting teachers. Can you believe sometimes teachers don't do their work when they're in college? Sometimes that happens. And so I was having a lot of trouble getting them to review 5 games. So I offered badges. I created these badges for them so that they could get a certain number of badges if they, or certain badges if they actually reviewed games. And so I'll show you this badges site that I created.
No.
I'm sorry?
No, something just happened.
Yeah.
Oh.
Alright, keep talking.
Okay. So I created these badges and just sort of said what they mean. And there were these game reviewer badges. And I started giving these out, and all of a sudden teachers started actually evaluating the games, which I thought was fun. That once they started getting these badges, they were motivated, and then they did their portfolios this year at the end of this semester, and some of them put their badges in their portfolio and then linked it back to this page to tell what the badge means and that sort of thing. So we had a connected Minecraft builder badge and several different badges that we offered for people, and I was surprised how well that worked, even for teachers who were between the ages of 24 and, no kidding, 60, you know. So they worked really well. The student responsibilities were that the students had to build and they had to organize the site. They managed the workflow of the site, and I'll show you how they did this for you guys. There's a link here called Workflow, and they tagged the pages. So here are all the pages that are being drafted. These are the pages that need copy editing and proofing, and so they had someone in charge of that. These are the ones that are being revised. These are the ones waiting review. And so then there's a link down here. These are the ones that need teacher revision, or teacher review rather. So you see there are a lot of them. And by using tags, the students managed this site. The ninth graders. They had to find games for review. They reviewed a lot of games, 10 games each, really. And then they also had gamified Twitter identities, and we had a Twitter channel that was gamified that the students managed. So a lot of responsibility here for both students and teachers. And all the while, the whole time that was going on, we had the gamified OOC going on, where we had people who use games in education. Does anybody know who Drakart is?
I do. I was in the talk with him.
Oh, cool. Well, so we had Drakart come in. We had.
Can you just explain it for a minute? Because I have no clue. Who is it?
Drakart?
Yes.
He's a YouTuber who does Minecraft videos. He does, he does multiplayer Let's Plays, and then he does Redstone tutorials.
Redstone is basically like
It's sort of like
power. It's kind of
it's
like
electricity.
yeah, electricity.
But the thing is, it's sort of like you can't have a wire go over another wire. They sort of mix together, so it's sort of like computer programming.
Yeah,
also.
you have to like kind of, you have to be smart. You have to really think about it.
And like
And that's
program
part of the
stuff,
reason why I think Minecraft is really educational. It's really good for your brain and like
Yeah.
it's
For problem solving?
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry.
Well, and one of the things that Drakart said that I loved, and I remember you were in that session now. It's just that we're all over the United States. It's hard for me to believe I'm seeing you here again. And then last time I saw you, we were in I was in California at least. And so, yeah. But one thing Drakart said that I thought was so cool is he said, Minecraft, when we collaborate together and we solve problems and we build these things, this really is more the way the world should be. So when we play Minecraft, we're really trying to have this collaboration, this deep learning experience with each other that happens painlessly, and it would be much better if that happened more in the real world. And so I thought that was just wonderful, and it really sold me. So we had Drakart, we had Michael Matera, who he gamified his 6th grade classroom. We had Dave Burgess, Teach Like a Pirate. He talked to us. We just had all of these people talk to us about how they used games. Sometimes we had 3 or 4 webinars a day over a 3-week period. And Verena Roberts organized all of this. So remember that there were 3 of us. I was the there are 4 of us. I was the higher education person. Verena took care of this, the OOC. Then Vicki, she was the 9th grade teacher. And then Colin Osterhout managed the Minecraft server and the Minecraft training. So every one of us worked our tail feathers off the whole semester. Not one of us could have done this by ourselves. So this was an amazing collaborative experience, but this OOC gave the teachers who had been playing the games, evaluating the games, some of the background knowledge, foundational knowledge that they needed to help them to build their own game and to look at gamifying their classrooms or use games in their classrooms. So Alice Keeler talked to us. There were just a whole bunch of people. And, you know, we couldn't go to books for that. There's nothing current enough. We really just had to go to the people who are doing it, and we had to be able to ask them questions about how they were doing it. So that was going on the whole time. So then the final stage for my students was they had to conceptualize a serious game. Now, they didn't have to build the whole thing, but they did have to decide what the game was going to do, how it was going to meet standards, how it was going to meet their own rubric, and, you know, and those were the main things. One group was doing a serious game in Minecraft, and so they did their game entirely in Minecraft, and then 2 other groups existed, and they could create their game in whatever way they wanted to. I said it could be paper and plastic that they use in their classroom. They could look at GameStar Mechanic. They could look at any tool they wanted. And then as they presented, they were going to present a game trailer. And so we had 3 game trailers that were presented, and they could choose whatever tool they wanted to. So one group, well, I'll show you in a minute. So each group used a different tool, which I thought was kind of cool. And then they were encouraged to meet their own rubric. Their game, the game that they create, needed to do the sorts of things that they said all along serious games should do, and it needed to do those things for students as well. So these are the games that we came up with. And I'm just going to show you the Minecraft trailer, if that's okay with you. So let me go back. And we created these trailers, and then the 9th graders voted on which game was the best game, the game that they liked the best. So here is the Minecraft game. And here is the trailer.
We really can't see the trouble then.
It's real tiny. Oh wait, I clicked on the green button. Okay.
Also, like different districts.
Yeah.
It's
Basically, it's based on Hunger Games.
What do they do with, like, the districts? They don't really talk about them, but
No,
They talk
they
about
don't
all
talk.
of them.
well, they do, but they don't go into detail.
In the game, you just basically kill each other.
They talk about like what they made and stuff.
Unless this
Like
could be like an adventure map
Yeah,
where they like
yeah.
play the story
Yeah.
Yeah.
through like the game.
I don't really. I've played the survival games where.
Yeah, where it's like
That's
the arena.
different.
Yeah, the arena, and you just go around fighting.
Yeah, I think there's more an adventure.
Yeah, it's more of an
Oh.
adventure map. Certainly. Actually, it's pretty terrible. Actually, it's not terrible so much as
You can
it's
get a
like nearly
PhD from
impossible.
Minecraft. Maybe you should start playing Minecraft.
I've literally never played Minecraft.
Yeah, you can start now.
Yeah.
I'll teach you.
Okay.
Culture trees make stuff.
Yeah.
Always culture tree.
What is that?
Get to get kids with wood.
Punch.
Yeah, because you don't have any tools yet.
I lost you just for a minute. Were we able to hear it?
No, we were able to.
No, we weren't able to hear it.
Yeah, but not hear it.
Oh, darn it. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Anyway, it was very good. Hopefully you can go here and you can watch it. I'm going to give you the link to it. But they actually got a professional voiceover person to do it. And I'm sorry, I was watching facial expressions thinking, okay, people can hear this.
They were having a great conversation about the districts that were, because we could see the tutorial, we just couldn't hear it.
Ah.
So they were having a great conversation about the comparison to Hunger Games.
Oh, wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, so that was one group. One group did that. One group used VoiceThread to actually do their presentation. And so I'm not going to show it to you, but I'm just going to show you that they used VoiceThread to do their trailer. And then another group used, so that group used ThingLink, this group used VoiceThread, and then another group used Prezi. And so I thought that that was great, that they're not technology majors. These people are generally math. They're interested in math and math majors, and they're also reading majors, and I had some special ed majors, and then just a handful of technology majors. But in their teams, they were able to use whichever tool they wanted. And then the teachers were real happy about this. They were happy with the way it turned out. Everybody felt good about it. These are some of the things they said. And their perception was that they only had 2 weeks to do this, but the reality was we were scaffolding this the whole semester. And every activity they did was intentionally planned to help them pull off creating this game. So you could see they said, you know, wow, and not only the game, I didn't think we could do this, but we did. One teacher said, as I worked through this, I had my students in mind and I could visualize them playing the game. And I just think that's great. And then one student, this is my 60-year-old student, he posted this: "It's over, it's done, we did it." And, you know, their game was based on Alaska. And he talks about how he really is glad that the game is cooperative and that people have to work together to win. And that, I think, is one of my biggest takeaways from this game, that from this semester, is by connecting the students in middle school to the students in higher education who are actual teachers, that we created this connection that was collaborative across all levels. It was intrinsically motivational. It was fun. I don't know if it's replicable. I have no idea if this can be done again, but we're going to try in the fall. And so I'll stop there for discussion and for questions.
I definitely think the part that you pointed out in the beginning, with the things that we need in the games, with the player freedom, I think that's one of the most important parts, because kids think so many different ways. All different kids think different ways, and for there to be different opportunities to beat the game, I think that's really important, because not everyone is going to always come to the same conclusion. There's always going to be different ways kids try to figure it out.
Different ways to everything, really.
Absolutely. And you know, one of the things that we found out is that the people who are creating games aren't doing it with teachers in mind. And so one of my colleagues asked me the other day, he said, "Does every teacher have to be a game designer?" And I said, no, they don't. But if we allow the teachers to engage in game design, then they have the opportunity of designing a game specifically for their learners and their classroom. And the tools are so good now, there's no reason that we shouldn't, I think, use that as one of our tools. So a really good point.
Anything else? Any more questions? No? You're good? This was a great conversation and a great turnout. I was so happy to see how many students we had in here. It was a great topic. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was a lot of fun. You guys have a great day, and thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.